All right, welcome in everybody tonight. I actually won't be drinking because I don't have any liqueur, but you've just been listening to the one and only Joe Cuellar from Lufkin, Texas, and it is East Texas week here on Tunesday Tuesday. I think we have like 14 different songs or something like that we're going to feature from East Texas artists tonight. I want to welcome in everybody for episode 34 of Tunesday Tuesday with yours truly, Boston Chris. We are live every single Tuesday on Facebook and Twitch at the Boston Chris Show. So if you're watching or listening in the future on Spotify or YouTube, just remember we're live every week. So come on in and say hi at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on Twitch and Facebook. Again, guys, if you're watching or listening on YouTube or Spotify or anywhere, really, just hit the like button, comment down below your favorite part of the show. And of course, if you want to see more like this, you can subscribe or follow for free wherever you are. And we hope you do so. This week, we are featuring Joe Cuellar, singer-songwriter from Lufkin, Texas. And his song, So Far Gone, is the song that we're going to be featuring tonight. And if you are watching again on YouTube or Spotify in the future and you only see the interview here, you can click on the full episode 34 recap in the description below. We hope you do that, but we separate this for that reason. That way we can have an interview by itself and the full show by itself as well. But without any further ado, guys, we're going to get into an interview with Mr. Joe Cuellar. I hope you guys will hang around with us tonight. We have a lot of tributes tonight. There has been a lot of very talented folks, including Ozzy today, that we just found out about earlier today that we will be tributing this week on the show. But without any further ado, let's get into it with Joe Cuellar. Joe, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Not too bad, man. This has been a long time coming, man. We've been talking about doing this for a minute. And are you still in the Lufkin area?
Yes, I am. Still right here in Lufkin, Texas.
Yeah, there's not much in Lufkin, is there?
Actually, there's some things here. It's not as big as Tyler or Longview, or obviously not as big as Houston,
I just had
but
to
it
ask
is.
that because it's been a minute since I've been down there. So I was just
Yeah.
curious. What's the music scene like down there lately? Because I know it's
Um,
pretty popping in Knack, but I'm not sure how it is
it,
in Lufkin.
it's pretty poppin' in Lufkin too. There's a bunch of music venues around here in this area. Obviously, a lot of the restaurants have a lot of music now. One of the big uh, places just outside of Lufkin. It's got a Lufkin address, but it's like in a little community called Beulah. But it's just like right outside of Lufkin, and it's called 58 Junction. It's like it has this Lukenbach feel to it. It's
Nice.
big area. A lot of cool things happening out there. And then, of course, like I said, you have your Jim Ann's Club. That's actually where I first had my first performance of my own back in 2012. That kind of kicked things off for me. I mean, yeah, was it 2012? Yeah, 2012, and kind of been rolling ever since. But yeah, there's plenty of places to play around here, and there's a lot of new young talent around the area, and obviously a lot of talent that was here before I even started doing music. I'm a late bloomer, so
Yeah.
I didn't start doing music till after my son graduated high school in 2011. So, but it's really good. Lufkin and Nacogdoches have both been very good to me. I've been fortunate to play in both locations from the very get go. I've done a lot of stuff for the city of Lufkin, a lot of stuff for city of Nacogdoches, and it's just great all around. So,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
gonna say, man, you've been at it a while, so it's been this is your 13th year. You mentioned you got a late start. Was that why you decided to raise your kids before really chasing the music dream?
Well, the funny thing is I bought a not necessarily. I mean, obviously, as a kid, you're always thinking about, hey, I'd love to be a musician one day. But I didn't buy a guitar until until after I got out of the army in '93. I got out of the army in '93, bought a guitar in '94. But anyway, so I'm gonna keep talking just in case this is still recording. Bought a guitar in '94 and just taught myself how to play just basic, simple chords, simple rhythm. And that's basically how I still play now.
Can you hear me?
And anyway, um, so went for a period of about 10 years where I hardly played my guitar. But when my son was in high school, I got to where I picked up my guitar more and started playing and sharing some videos. And one thing led to the next. People started telling me, "Hey, man, we really like your sound. You should do something with it." And I wasn't hearing what they were hearing. But anyway, um, I went ahead and just got out and started playing. And It's been fun. So
You mentioned you're also a veteran. We have that in common. But you didn't really pick up the music until after getting out of the military. Is that what you're saying?
that's correct. I taught myself some simple basic chords and taught myself how to sing a few songs, but obviously vocally just wasn't there. And like I said, it wasn't until after my son was in high school that I started trying to play more just at home and sing more. And then I started sharing some videos, and people were telling me, "Man, you should do something with that. If you got out and played somewhere, I'd come listen to you." And so my friend D. Vincent Williams, he's a hit songwriter in
Yes.
Nashville. You know him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He and I were friends here. Well, his sister was here, and she was out playing somewhere, and I hadn't been out to a bar or anything since my kid was young. Because I raised my focus was raising him. It was always football and baseball, and just raising him and as a single father. And I was like, well, he graduated high school. I was like, man, I don't do anything. I want to go hear some live music. So his sister happened to be playing. Now I remembered he had older siblings, but I just don't remember, meeting her. And he hung out at my house, and I spent the night with them. But anyway, long story short, I went to go hear her, and my friend that put the event together said, "Joe, get up and sing. I've seen some of your videos." And I said, "Well, I didn't bring my guitar." And she said, her name is Dana Williams, by the way.
Mhm.
She said, "Well, you can use mine." And so it turned out she was like, "Well, I'm David Williams' sister." I was like, "Well, yeah, I know David. I've known David since we were kids." And she had me sing two songs. I sang one of my originals, and then "Knocking on Heaven's Door." And I was she had Mike. She was playing with Mike Helm, and so he played along with me. And I butchered my own song that night. I remember that. But anyway, she was like, "Hey, I really like your voice, Joe. Why don't you come in and sit in with us next weekend?" So it got to where she just started inviting me to sit in and sing during their set breaks at some of their gigs. And then one thing led to another, and I just ended up just taking off on my own and just been doing it ever since.
So at the top, when Joe mentioned the folks that came before him in the Lufkin scene, David Vincent Williams would be one of those folks. That's probably right.
Yeah, Defense Williams, yeah, from around here,
Yeah.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
insane. If you guys don't know who that is, we're talking "I'm Moving On" by Rascal Flatts and a bunch of other
That is
songs. And
that is correct.
thank you for reminding me. I actually need to text Steve Vincent because we've been trying to get together for an
Yeah.
episode. So I'll have to remember that. I just made a note. Thank you for that. So
Yeah, you're
we got
welcome.
Joe Cuellar here, man. I think I met you. If I'm not mistaken, I think you and I met at the Liberty Bell in Nacogdoches. I think I remember you doing a show out there, and
I, yep, I used to play out there a lot. That was a hot spot back in the day. Whenever it was
yeah,
there in Nacogdoches, and
yeah,
I was playing there all the time. And whenever I was off, I was going there and catching music. A lot of phenomenal musicians from all around East Texas, and then she was also bringing. Katie was also bringing in
yeah,
bands from further out,
yeah.
and some very well known you know bands in the state. So
Yeah, the songwriting there was amazing, man. So we would drive out there from Longview all the time, and the food was fantastic too, which made it, doubly good as well. Good music, good food. I
absolutely.
definitely miss that place and places like it, man. We need more places like that. Um, we are featuring one of Joe's songs tonight, and typically we tend to feature songs that are somewhat new, but Joe has a fantastic song that I absolutely love, and it's a little bit on the older side. It's called "So Far Gone." Now you have polished it. And updated it. So tell us about the song, how it came to be, and then kind of why you decided to re-release it or polish it up for a new release this year.
Okay, so I wrote it like around 2016, and I had a friend that was had a video production company, and videography, whatever, and he was like, he had me play. He had me play at his in downtown Nacogdoches. He had a loft or a house upstairs. I forgot what it's called, but anyway, it was a tour. Yeah, it was a loft. It was a tour of lofts, and he wanted to showcase. He's like he wanted to outdo all the other people that were having a tour of lofts. He was like, "Hey man, will you come play at my loft whenever this tour of lofts is going on in downtown Nacogdoches? I want to do it up really good." And then he said, "Whenever you get ready, the way I'll pay you is I'll do a video for you." So that's how that kind of worked out. So then I wrote this song, "So Far Gone," around 2016, and a lot of people think that I'm like write everything about me personally, and I don't. It's funny how people are like, well, is that about this? Is that about that? And it's like, no. Even though I can relate, because you can always relate.
Mm-hmm.
I just see things. I just see things that go on around me through social media, or where you're just out playing somewhere and you hear people's stories and stuff like that, and I just kind of tie things in together. Obviously people go through breakups and stuff like that. You see family and friends or whatever, and so you see the drama on Facebook sometimes. And so I kind of feed, I kind of get my material from stuff I see, not necessarily me personally, although I can,
Mm-hmm.
relate to some of it. But it's not like, oh, I'm heartbroken or I'm this or that, and I'm going to write about it. And that's fine if that's how you write. I just don't necessarily write that way. But so I wrote this song, and uh my friend, he was like, hey, George Hooker was his name. It's GHM Media, if I remember. That's how he calls it, but what he still calls it. But anyway, he was like, "Man, I got a perfect place for the video. Just give me the finished song, but we have to do it by this date." And so I was kind of rushed getting the audio, recorded and getting it the way I liked it. And so we released it back then and did a video. The video was phenomenal. I just wasn't necessarily happy with the sound of it,
Mm-hmm.
and so I always knew I needed to re-record it, and I re-recorded it with Brian Harkness here in Lufkin at his studio. Brian Harkness is a phenomenal guitar player. He used to tour with I just want Ray Price. Yeah, he toured with Ray Price. He was his guitarist for a while too. But anyway, so I re-recorded this version of "So Far Gone," and very pleased with it. Just haven't made a video for it,
Yeah.
but
Well, I'm
yeah,
excited about some things that you just said there that I'm going to try to kind of ask some questions about because songwriting is very perspective based, right? And
yes,
you talked about writing about things that you see, and
yeah,
obviously, like it works differently for each creative person. It could be what you
yeah,
see, it could be what you hear, it could be what you feel. And
hmm
it's different for each songwriter. Some songwriters can do all of the above. Would you
yeah.
say for you it's more of something that you're experiencing and seeing out as you live your life rather than something that you feel yourself personally most of the time?
Most of the time, it is that way.
Yeah.
And like I said, and I will say that even though I might not be writing about myself personally at that time, I can still relate because of what I might have experienced 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not necessarily writing about my personal, anything. Even though I have in the past, a long time ago, I just don't
Sure.
write that way now. Um, but and I'm not saying I would never write that way again. It just comes to me different. And sometimes like the other song that we spoke of, "Tonight I'll Be Drinking," I wasn't going through anything at that particular time. It was just weird how the song came to me because I wasn't even thinking about writing a song, and I wasn't sad. I was happy, and I was in a great mood, and that song just kind of came to me. I was like, well, I'm gonna see if I can't finish this song. So and I was thinking about at that time when these lyrics came to me for the other song, like I said, "Tonight I'll Be Drinking." I was like, okay, well, my friend's going home to bury his friend, his musician friend in Alabama, so I'll just kind of put myself in his shoes. Although I know we've all lost somebody, so it's it's
Yeah.
it's weird. Like it's yeah, it's just
Now
it
that
just
style
sometimes
of
it just
writing,
comes to
like
me.
writing,
Yeah,
creating stories from stuff you see, or you're hearing from your friends, or what they're going through, other people. How do you feel? Because I mean, really, music is all about a connection, right? It's a connection
yeah,
between artist and song, and then there's a connection between the song and the listener, and both of those are equally as important, right? So,
I,
if it's something that you're writing from somebody else's perspective, in other words, it's something that was experienced by somebody else, how do you create that connection personally to that, like that experience as a songwriter? So that way it does connect to a listener.
in some ways, even though I might not be going through whatever hurt or pain or struggle they're going through at the moment, I've been through similar. So I can reach back in, and I can pull that emotion out. And especially when I'm performing and singing the song and sing with that passion or that emotion. Um, and so, I mean, we've all of us have a story, and all of us have been through things in our lives. So it's really easy to, see what somebody else is going through and then kind of put yourself in their shoes, especially if you've experienced something similar.
Yeah, I think that's
So,
interesting because it's almost like you're covering
and
a
I see
song
I
even though
lost
you
you
wrote it.
again.
Yeah, hold on, I'll fix it.
And I apologize if it's,
You got me?
yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
don't know
right
what's
here.
happening, but I know how to fix it, so that's all that matters, man. So
Okay. All right.
I
Yeah.
think it's funny because like you wrote the songs, but it's almost like you're covering the story, right? Like it's so cool
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the song is original to you, but you're actually pretending, right? It's a cover
Yeah.
of the story you heard that you put it into the song, and I just think
Yeah.
that's pretty dope, and that's why I love songwriting because it's different for every single person. Um, do you feel like, especially as a veteran, right? Because obviously being in the military, that gives you a lot of content by itself for songs and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Do you feel like writing from your own perspective is doable as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I have done it. I've just not released anything. That was like I've done that from the very in the beginning, but
Sure.
not so much lately as far as personal. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Do
that is
you
very
do you
doable.
do you when it's your own song, your own perspective, your own experience? Do you feel like there's more of a connection than somebody else's perspective? Because I love how you're talking about how when it's somebody else's experience, you just kind of put yourself in their shoes with your own experience that was similar in order to connect to the song. When
Yeah.
that's not there, do you feel you connect to the song even better?
I think in some cases, yes, but
Yeah,
also let's just say I'm going to go back. I know where you're going to play "So Far Gone," but let's just say like, let's just say like "So Far Gone" too. I could say both. Tonight I'll be drinking and "So Far Gone." Those weren't necessarily out of my personal pain or struggle or whatever, but I could relate to to them. But I've had people come to me, man, that song right there, man, that's my song. That I felt that. Or
yeah,
I've had people come to me with "Tonight I'll be drinking" with tears in their eyes, telling me their story about a lost loved one and stuff. And so to me, that's the connection.
yeah.
So even though it might have not have been my personal pain at the time when I wrote the song, I just knew I could relate to it and I can deliver that song. There's so many stories. That's what I love. Is most people only hear the song and might be fans of the song or the music or whatever, and they see you and think you're a musician out there, but they don't know all the backstories. And this is what I think is so cool: is the backstories of the people coming up to you, telling you, man, that
Yep.
song. That way you sang that song, man, that's my song. I lost a loved one. I went through this, or you see these big grown men, big grown manly men, like towering
Mm-hmm.
over you, and they come up to you. They're not necessarily crying, but you can see a look in their eyes, and
Yep.
they come up to you like this, and they're like, man, and then they don't know what to say, but you connected with them, and so they're like, here, man, here, they'll hand you a drink or a shot or whatever, and so it's connecting with people. To me, it's connecting, with
That's
people through music.
flattering,
What?
isn't it?
Yeah,
As a creator.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah, man,
yeah,
it's so cool to
absolutely.
have Joe here. I don't know if you knew this. I'm sure you've seen me promoting it, but this is episode 34 of the show, and I decided since you are from deep East Texas, I wanted to try to do a week where it was all East Texas artists. So this week on the show is it's not all because we do have our global artist of the week, which we feature every week. Somebody from somewhere else, a different country or
Yeah,
whatever. But other than that, and our tributes for the people that have passed away this week, everybody else is from East Texas in this show. So,
that's really cool.
yeah, you have inspired me to do that just because of the Lufkin connection and being from deep East. Like real far behind the piney curtain, right?
Fine. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So super cool to have you on. Let's talk about your pick of the week, which I always love this because I blind react to this song. I don't listen to this song ahead of time. Whoever's picked, you have picked Parker Ryan as your pick of the week, and the song is called "Shattered." So tell us why you picked this artist and this song specifically.
Well, there's so many that I could have picked from, and so many doing great things right now. But I guess because he was one of the first. Now, from the very beginning, I've just always tried to plug people in, even though I was the new kid on the block. Not all, well, although I wasn't a kid whenever I started doing music, but although I was a new musician on the block. From the very beginning, I always believed in helping somebody out, get them connected. If I made a connection with somebody, I'm going to help somebody out, try to get them plugged in. And a lot of times it was his kid, from Tommy Simpson was one of the people I helped, but he was obviously around my age.
Mm-hmm.
To Parker Ryan but anyway, Parker was a high school kid, and I had seen him perform with his band at our music store here in Lufkin when he was still in high school. And well, one night he was at one of my shows at Ralph and Kaku's, and he was like, I went over there and I said, hey, would you like to sing something solo acoustic and get up here and sing something? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And I'd heard him with his band, but hearing him stripped down with an acoustic guitar was just a totally different level. And he was probably, I don't know if he was in 10th grade or 11th grade. I can't remember now. I think he might have been in 10th grade. But I was just floored. I was like, hearing him with his band was awesome, but I was just floored just hearing him just stripped down, and you could just feel it. You could hear it, and you was like, man, this kid could do some things. And I told him, I was like, hey, how about? I was like, have you ever thought about? I said, I'm not trying to pull you away from your band, but have you ever thought about doing some solo acoustic shows? I said, because you could make some pretty decent money. You're not going to get rich, but you'll make some decent money playing on the weekends more than your high school friends will working all week at a regular job, And I said, I can help you get plugged in. And he just kind of took off from there and started playing some shows with me. I'd have him come sit in with me, then get him plugged in, shows, benefits. And he did whatever I asked. And then he moved away for his senior year to Galveston. He made some connections there. And next thing you know, he's blowing up and playing all over the place. He got to open up for Cole Wetzel at Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion, not this past summer. I think it was the summer before that. But he's playing all over now. I believe he lives in College Station now. But he's
killing it. I'm looking at his tour dates right now. He'll be on tour with Treaty Oak Revival later this year. And 49 Winchester. Like, those boys are not going to let anybody on their billing, right? So so he's killing it. Then the other thing I take away from this kid is, like, you look at his picture on his webpage and he's wearing a Caitlin Butts shirt. So he's all right by me, man. He's all right by me.
Yes,
Joe,
sir.
I appreciate you coming on, man. If people wanting to follow along with you, where would you send them? Where's the best place to support Joe Cuellar?
My Facebook page, I have my personal Facebook page, Joe Cuellar, and then my musician page, Joe Cuellar Music. I post update on both sites, but most of my followers are actually on my personal page.
Yeah.
And it's just the way it works. And I'm on Instagram too, Joe Cuellar Music, last name spelled Cuellar.
So awesome to have you here, man. I'm glad this worked out. I made a bit of a scheduling mistake, which, by the way, in 10 years of doing this, I've never frickin' done that before. So I felt so shitty about it. And I was like, thank goodness the guy, like, it got switched around, and the other guy it actually worked better for him to move up a week because, I couldn't believe I did that shit.
That's okay. It happens.
Yeah, I wanted to apologize to you for that.
Maybe not with you, but yeah. But
it's just crazy, man. I told, I'm just like, man, I can't let this happen again, bro. Like, but yeah, I appreciate you being on, man. We're going to get into the music, and anytime you want to come on, you have new music, just let me know, man. I'd love to have you back.
Will do, man. Appreciate you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for having me.
Sure, man. You have a good rest of your night.
You too.
All right, guys. So that was indeed Mr. Joe Cuellar here on the show for the very first time. Again, I want to say thank you to everybody who's tuning in live, but also if you're on Spotify or YouTube, this is the portion of the show where I have to remind you all, if you want to hear all the music, click in the description the episode 34 recap, because the interview portion of this show is going to end right now.